on this report tonight again. We'll get this. Adam's not available, so I'm stepping in as Vice Chairman just for tonight's meeting. And so we'll get it started. It's 7:15 and the meeting is now open. Item number 1 would be an apology for absence. Yes, we've had a message from Councillor Bowman to say that he's stood down with immediate effect due to his health. He has said, however, that he's prepared to help the Parish Council in any way that he can, and so he's contactable whenever. So just, I'm sure we'll all agree that health comes first. So we'll obviously take his resignation from now. We'll tell the NCC that is well, yeah, we'll do it. Right. Item number 2, disclosures of interests. Disclose any interest in items on the agenda and grant them any dispensations. No? Item number 3, public questions. Member of the public may ask a question and make representations. Public questions are limited to 10 minutes in total, and it may be necessary to limit the time allotted to each person in accordance with standing orders 4DJ. Please note that the Parish Council may only take a decision where an item is raised elsewhere on the agenda.
Is that what? Is there something else to talk about that's not on the agenda? I don't know if the plot is or not on the agenda.
Sorry, the presentation is not scheduled for the full council meeting on the 10th of February.
Okay.
Very well.
I just wanted to check in with everyone and see where I'm at with it.
It looks lovely.
Oh, the bears, Aidan's done a good job, hasn't he?
Really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it worth just saying now? Okay. So basically, got the beds in. I sent off the pre-application today, and was told sort of informally through the council, you could go for it. But I just felt like I wanted to know from the landowner that he was all right with that. And so I've gone the way you suggested in the pre-app. I think that because we've got the funding for the workshops and then the beds are in, and if the year just takes longer, then the bell tent can be put up because it can be taken down, and that's fine apparently if it's taken down within 28 days as a temporary structure. Because there's things like the Story Book Fest coming up, and people were interested in using the space to have some of the stories and the authors use it and kind of incorporate doing some stuff with the kids and that's going to be later on in May, and then the one for adults is in March. So just to sort of still be able to use the space, I just kind of wanted to check in that you guys were all right with me doing that.
Well, the landowner has given a few broad brush questions as to how it's going to be used and the monetisation of the space and things like this. We've got some questions that we're going to talk about within the Parish Council, and it would be quite helpful if you're at the next meeting on the 10th, just so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I think he's quite open to the idea, well, he's very open to the idea of it being used as a community space, but it's just the incorporation of a commercial entity that he wants to check things out. So, we want to get everything right first time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and there's some things that I suppose I don't know the answer to. It's like working it out with him as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's all really. I just sort of want to let you know, see what they say at planning.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's a really good first step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Right.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Probably ahead.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Hi.
Minutes from the previous meeting. 16th of December.
Let's go back for the birthday, check it through this time.
It's all right.
Yeah, we'll check it.
Okay.
I have responded to his address 6 Main Street regarding the police back on the proposed instalment directly.
Yes, yeah.
So that's been action.
Right, so anybody who was at the last meeting, I'll be happy with the minutes. Can we, I'm sure, hands to approve? Just, right. Item 5, finance, to receive, so item A, to receive a financial summary and budget on account to the 20th of January 25.
Just ask what the 316 approach is.
316 production is the PA sound system for the memorial.
Okay.
So the allotments is anticipated in budget of 220. Actually, we had a date of 140. Is that because there's vacant allotments? It wasn't not paid yet.
I think it's still some money to still come in. I need to put together a list of
Yeah.
the working document whether or not we can.
Yeah. Who hasn't paid?
What's the benefit?
I don't know what the head is. I think there was a few changes to swaps.
Swaps, yeah.
So I need to go through my emails and pull out who's asking me where.
Yeah, and if there's some that are available, we need to get advertising now because it's
Things coming on there. Yeah.
The Breckfield Thurston Parish Council contribution. It's anticipated 500, but we've got 30. Is that because there was the donation?
What's that, sorry?
I'm getting the right line here. Hang on. Breckfield Thurston Parish contribution. It's £500. Anticipated, but 1341 actual.
I'll look at that.
I think there was a. Was there a contribution that had a condition on it? What was that from? Was that from?
So I'm
Councillor
discussing
Blair?
Glenn's contribution.
But that hasn't come yet.
That hasn't come yet, no. What we have had in is the fair committee donation from Council Bridge, that check's coming, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
it's not some inclusion in this, is it?
That was a little bit in back.
I'll look at that.
What? Is there some? Is there a statement we made there, or just a piece of?
Meeting, budgets.
Does anyone have any questions on the budget?
Function, financial year and metals works.
March, yeah, it was March, yeah. I have currently just got, coded in what to describe,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
it's going really well, so yeah, the parity, whether I got all of the, package, income on describe, check it now versus the budget, present them as a draft, to the 10th of February. And that's the, before that, just to do, the hierarchy and the structure of the accounting we described. A bit different to this Excel spreadsheet, it's just getting more familiar with the structure.
It's got to be simple.
Yeah.
still got it in my diary of parish council meeting next Monday. So nothing else than that.
Back to you next Monday as well. I can host. So I've got anybody who's watched that.
So what we're looking at the third?
Yeah, next Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the best options.
Don't you heard that working group meeting on the 3rd? To have a look at this new strike system.
Yeah, just because it's
That's next Monday. Alright.
So is that up there? So
7:30, yep, good local time. And I'll host it, yeah. Very. So is the coffee. Yeah.
You've got us all sorted.
Tripify.
One of the colours has got biscuits in it as well. She has shown me which one. Okay, so that's, is everyone happy with the financial summary?
The last one. Sorry. The last one on the organised thing. Oh. They're not on the next page, they're not on that. Oh, I'm sorry,
Just doing the financial summary.
There's just one query on the declaration. I don't know if you maybe anything on this one. It's about
Thursday donation.
the
First page. Bank, there you go. That one.
that's their annual donation.
Exhibition fee and contribution.
Remember a couple of years ago that
Yeah, they just decide the way to do it. But is that not, have you got in there some of the stuff that they don't, they give to us for the cemetery? Because that seems an awful lot for them to be giving us for the
Right.
rec field. I'm sure they just pay one donation a year.
Does it all come as a one, does it?
Yes.
Right.
I think the war has got 1, 3, 4. Not just look at it.
Yeah,
Have a look at that, Kevin.
Right. So item B, to receive an update on the VAT return.
VAT return will be ready to submit once the scribe accounts have been approved by the committee. If you have the how the report looks, then the committee just press a button and backdate all the VAT. Just need to establish when the last claim went in, if everyone's aware of when the last back return was done. Spring to mind, because we can go up to 4 years historically for claims, but I just wanted to know anyone needs it.
Last year.
I'm
Sure,
sure.
that one in the middle last year.
I think there was one in the middle of last year.
24. But yes, it'll be an easy process, much easier process once we'll start to get the quarterly moving forward. Yeah, so just streamline that.
In old days, we let it stop happening until there was a
Yeah,
sizable
you
amount
can,
and then put it
yeah.
through.
If you within a certain term, you're allowed to.
But if scribes perhaps if you're doing it, it's putting a
It makes sense
that
to do it,
yeah.
And C, to authorise payments.
The payment 316 production is a joint cemetery committee payment and we authorised it last week.
So it shouldn't be on here.
Okay.
So let's put a line through that one.
Okay. And so as it comes off that, can you make it just go on this one?
Yeah, certain things have to come through the joint cemetery
Yes, absolutely.
and therefore I don't think I dropped off the free hands of that.
Thank
that would be to the total of the 160 plus 340.
No, it'd be 163, 45 plus 1 more, because that's the net in there and the credits.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So that figure will be
I don't know, start doing ones in there.
So you're running out all of that was
606. So that the figure John had landscape should be 606. And that includes rec lane maintenance and rec field general
Yes.
maintenance.
Not a play area and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we had the walk around, the maintenance inside the park was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Come on to that
We'll get to there in a second.
in a second.
Right, I think everything else on there is quite self-explanatory. Is everyone happy? So on the basis of the change to the 316 reductions, which is omitted from this list, and the inclusion of the 20% VAT to John Hood Landscaping, is everyone happy to approve the payments?
Yeah.
And you. And item 6, recreation field, to receive an update on the play area and the vision and agree any actions.
Okay, so was anybody here that wasn't at the walk around? Yeah, so we had a walk around of the whole rec field, including the play area, and yeah, discussed lots of different points going around. The play area especially, we look, first of all, as John's just said, groundwork looked really good, everything really neat and tidy and well maintained at the moment. Back fence looking really shabby. Adam was quite concerned about it and things when he had a bit of a rattle on it and things. He was concerned that that is coming up to being a health and safety concern. Still got the issue of the kids going over the fence in the far corner, and definitely needs some things maintenance up there. We just started to discuss an idea and a vision to get that back fence panelled, with it enveloping round at the two corners where we've got issues with the kids going over the fence and the hedge not coming right up and meeting and things, and think that that would probably be what we're going to do with it. And then we kind of went on with that and said, wouldn't it be great, because we've actually got quite a lot of space at the back there next to that fence that's underutilised, to actually incorporate some more pet play features into that and have them kind of linked onto the work with the fence and things. So, started to do some sketches. So, if you envisage that you're looking, from the south onto the play area and things, you've got the whole of that, the back fence, and there's the right-hand corner, which is a little bit elevated there. We've measured up and things, and we think we've got space in there that we'd quite like to have a shelter incorporated onto the fence line. So I was hoping to put the money that Glenn's pledged towards us, but he doesn't seem so keen on it being called the Sanderson shelter. But this is what I've started to draw. I really liked the idea. I thought it was really sweet. It looks really, really, really basic, but we don't want anything too fancy. The idea is obviously we've got a fence coming on here, fence coming on the back, two open sides, which is important because a lot of the kind of ways that we look at play area shelves and things, and they're being utilised by older children and teenagers as well, is that you don't want places where it's enclosed where you can have bullying and things and kids getting trapped and yeah, that type of thing going on. So the way that I've done it with the two open sides, and then also you can get around benches in the middle as well. It's to avoid people getting trapped in corners and things, and that works really well with, I don't know if anyone's seen the Places for Girls initiative, and this is getting girls outside and feeling safe in environments and things where they can meet up in small groups and things. Idea is that we would take the embankment down a little bit and then have raised benches around the top, which would also act as a barrier for the soil and things as well. And then some couple of benches in the middle for kind of using as tables. These as well, the raised benches would be strong enough for older children and teenagers to sit on, because they do like being up higher and then using things in an alternative way. So that's the way that I've looked at that. The only concern with this at the moment is the distance from the edge of this shelter to the arm of the big bucket swing. As this isn't a play feature, it shouldn't have to have a full distance. So even though it can be climbed on, if it isn't designed to be climbed on, your full distance is less. So when we measure up this further and come up with like kind of any part of what types of sign, and we're speaking to somebody from Rosper about it as well, we'll check all of that off. But that's what I've come up with at the moment. Now, I've been in contact with Lucy from Pumpkin Pie as well to see what they're kind of like, because they're my easiest consultee for the biggest use of the play park and things. And she says their biggest thing there would be a shelter over any other play equipment and things. Their main thing that limits their use down there and impedes their enjoyment is security on the back fence and safety with it, and not having anywhere to shelter from the elements, and that is rain and like kind of shade in the summer as well. The only issue with this corner that kind of works into that is that you wouldn't be able to push a buggy up onto it, because it would be like a little like path embankment that you need to go up to get into it. But I'm not gonna, you can't tick every box, and it's for. What's really nice about this as well is because it's an elevated point, you can see right over the wreck, and from that for parents sitting as well, or supervisors, you can see all of the play area from that point as well, which is why we really liked that idea when we were looking at things. Just check that is what you have in mind as well. We then walked along the fence and we talked about kind of play features that could be incorporated into it. If we have a bigger separate play feature down there, it will have climbing features on, but we could still have an area of reinforced fence that you could have a bit of a climbing wall to replace that central bit, which is going to be a bit of an off this year because it is, it is starting to wobble and things. And that is an option. And then going further down to the far corner, there is enough space there that we could have a imaginative play area with like a mini fort type thing built onto the corner where it's wrapping around. And for that, we were talking about something like this. So generally we've got this corner here of the fence that will reinforce, we just like build a little hideout there for kids to go into, because at the moment the bit that they use most for imaginative play is either the bit of laurel hedging or the witch's hat, to kind of like clean shops in and out and everything, and like having a little hideaway type of thing there. I also liked the idea is, if you imagine along the back fence, is that you had like a mini bit of decking with a solid fence coming along, and kind of almost like a decking run that you could get a wheelchair or a buggy along. Because at the moment we don't have any wheelchair features in the park, or like kind of, but the issue is everyone says the same thing, oh, the roundabout's really good, but unless you have a solid surface park, they get scuppered, almost instantaneously with wood chippings and things going into the bottom of things. So this is my little picture of a mock-up Felton bridge. So if you think against the fence, you have a little Felton bridge coming out, hidey holes going underneath it, and a little runway going over the top of it and things. But as I said, sorry, they're on the fence, so it's like the river's coming down it, but those were my kind of ideas and things. Now, I had a preliminary chat with Aidan Kelsey, which is Becca's partner, who does the landscaping and things, just about feasibility and things, because I know that he's done play areas before and what his thoughts were, and we had a quick measure up and everything, and he says all of those ideas would be within the safety distance of the other play features in the park. He said that he would be interested for tendering for the work, and he says that we'd have to cost it up properly. For all of that though, he was saying that he'd be looking at a starting price of about £20,000, but obviously we need to get that priced up properly and then tender it out, because we need 3 quotes for it. But he says if the work was to happen in the first start of this year, he would definitely be interested in tendering for it, because it's definitely up his street. And I'll just say, he was project manager at Natural Playscapes, which was formerly called Infinite Playgrounds, before going self-employed. He tends to do landscaping at the moment, but does still do playgrounds and outdoor shelters. And he said that would be well within his remit to do it. And as you know, I do like it when we can, support local businesses. And Aidan's already involved with the plot and things. But obviously we would get, he understands that we need to get first, but he's happy to work with us on the design and things. He's also got contacts with Rosper that he's, can communicate with things, and a good understanding of how Rosper works, and what boxes we need to tick on that. So I would like to put that up for consideration. I know that it would be taking money away from the big play feature, which is the thing that I really want, which maybe my children won't have outgrown by the time it actually gets put in there. But with us doing the back fence, it would, I think these would be a good thing for us to put in for consideration. I've spoken at the moment that we've got this small fund that Glenn Sanderson wants to give us, but we need to get that money allocated almost immediately. And I think he doesn't like the idea of it being called Sanderson Shelter, and I think this has got too much uncertainty to get it allocated straight away. So alternatives that I've looked at for that would be the junior swing set that we think we'll need replacing in the not so distant future, but it hasn't actually been written off yet, and I don't think it's...
Is that the one in the south?
The junior one is the big one for bigger kids, it's not the infant one. So it's got some wear and tear at the bottom there and things, but it's still sound at the moment. Rosper didn't pick up on it last year or say that it needed replacing. So the one other thing that we do need to replace, which is going to need removing, is the one remainder bouncer. There used to be a pair there, all of them had to get removed because of damage, and the other one's now comes to the end of its natural lifespan. So what I've measured up for, and would come roughly, there would be some overspill that we need to fund, would be a larger multi-child seesaw to put there. And the ones that we're talking about is, how do we get it up? Is the ones that you can put 2 children on each end, and then it's got a balance platform in the middle that the older children are meant to use to practice surfing or something. So it does come in at just over, because Glenn has now pledged, he said it's £4,000 that he wants to give us. So this is the seesaw that comes up on there. That price does not include installation, and you have to actually submit to get a quote for it. But you can put 2 or more children on each end of it and have that board in the middle. I did, when I spoke to Lucy about it, she was very much shelter, 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 and improve everything else. But we've got this space where that bouncer is coming out, and we don't have any other things apart from the swings in there that are mobile units and things. Everything else is climbing and hiding and whatnot. So I think it would get used and things. And I think the one at Druridge Bay that's similar to this gets used quite a lot as well. So that would be something. And I think Glenn needs us to give it, because it's a comp plan that we tend to like to work with, that we've used in the bypass, but I can do the price comparisons for the other companies that do them. But I've measured up for that one for the area that's next to the swings where the bouncers are at the moment, and it fits in with the full distances as well.
Do the installers need to be certified or something?
Complan install, yeah. So when you put in, get the quote, apply for the quote, they tell you how much it was, because it's dependent on area as well.
We install it. Rosper comes out and checks it.
Yeah, and it's
Not with the risk, is it?
yeah. So
where it's going to go wouldn't impede when we eventually get the
no,
looks.
no, it isn't, because so you can see there that's the way it is, and then that's incorporating your full distances around it. And when I went and measured up from the area of bargees that we've got available is, I think, 7.5 metres by 7 metres from the swings to the path, and then from the grass to the bench in that area. So it would fit in for that, actually, because that's it's coming out at 5.5 by 5.5. So it would fit into that area, and I think we're just going to have to, otherwise we'll lose out on that front and things. And Glenn said that he was happy. He was happy with any of the things, but he just needs a item. And I think he was more keen on having something new rather than replacing the swings, was the gist that I got from him. But say if we were to put, because we've got the Fair Committee were kind enough to round up the donations from Carol's on the Bridge to £1,000 and add that into Glenda's, then that would, I think, we look at that covering the seesaw, and that would be a nice, novel item for us to have in there. It is ages since we've had a seesaw. I think last time we had a seesaw when I was a little girl. So, yeah.
My niece was 26, so she fell off it when she was
Right, okay. So I think that, so if everyone's happy for me to pursue that, we can tell,
Please
as well.
do.
Yeah, okay, right. Was there anything else I had to add to my spiel tonight? Yes, so this was the other thing that I discussed with Lucy, and this isn't any means that we kind of like, they're a major user down there, and I know that they are a busy business and they bring that down, but they're also an asset to us from the fact that they're utilising the space so much. Is that I said to Lucy about the option of us putting a public toilet down there, and she says because of the use the Pumpkin Pie have down there and the regularity they would be happy to go onto a cleaning rota if that was something that we could consider. I mean, we're still going to have the issue of when it's locked and things, of opening and closing it and whatnot, but she said that they would be happy to be restocking down there, monitoring it and doing the general day-to-day wipe-downs during the week when they're down there. So when we're looking at kind of sustainability of managing a unit, that's a major asset if they're willing to do that. And that we do think she could talk about doing that on a permanent basis.
I think she'd be willing to take it on as a contract work.
I think I think she knows, she's still very, very much up for us having a building down there, and so that still be wanting to rent space if we were going to do it. But in the meantime, they utilise it massively down there, and she's very much into. Sorry. They have 2 groups down there at the moment, every day, morning and afternoon, and that's even with the major works that they've done up there. She's, and she really appreciates it when we do communicate with them and ask their opinion on things. And I think, having a toilet down there is going to be a major perk for them, so they'll be up for that.
So, are we going to go down the route of the composting toilet then, or?
Unless we are about to tap into the mains, which we know how much of an issue there is, then it's our only option for getting a toilet down there in the near future. Looking at grants at the moment, it's going to be very tricky for us to put a building up there. I could see it being another decade before we've done that. And I think, I'd be interested to know what the resale value of the units are, if they can be moved afterwards. And I know we did talk about that previously. I didn't actually get the email about with the cost of the toilet. I just heard I don't know how much it was going to. Did anybody else get it? Because he said he sent one out with the details and things. So in the region of £13,000, including installation. And that was for the disabled with baby change in it, but it is completely off grid, grey water and whatnot. And I think, based on that, it's still going to massively increase our availability of that area to people. It's not a changing block, but it is having a toilet down there.
At the end of the day, getting the building down there is the dream. But we'll have to be realistic on what we're going to do sometimes.
I think it's being realistic, and again, it is showing that we've increased the footfall down there by putting the toilet in there, and then saying what we need is more, and that when you're doing the grant application is a big thing. Yeah. And it doesn't mean to say that toilet's going to stop being used when we have a building there. What it would be, because when, for those of you who saw the original building designs, we've got almost like a Jack and Jill arrangement for the back of the building, so you could access public toilets through outdoor doors, and there was a lockable internal door for when the building was in use. But what we were saying, it was really complicated, and then it meant that it was a safeguarding issue for when the building was being privately used, say if people were renting the space and things. So I think having a separate standalone public toilet would still be of benefit, even if we did get a building down there. Because it would alleviate the need for us to do that, but we could still, utilise it for maintenance and things. Sorry? How much have we got set? We did have a pot still for the toilet on the. Is that on? So was it in with the multi-duct user building? Because I think would cover it at the moment. I think is the gist. But we could, put the grant application in. So this is what we're going to do.
What covers those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shall we, I'll go through a bit more the nitty-gritty of this before the next meeting. We can put it onto the agenda for the next meeting.
If we get some solid prices.
Yeah. I think I need to put the information that I've got.
So do you need anything else from us from the seesaw? You just need to get quotes.
I just need to get 3. Yeah. Oh, can I allocate any of this job to Jacqueline?
Well,
for
depends what it is, you haven't got what it is.
maybe communicating with Glenn Sanderson, because generally, so we need to, because Glenn Sanderson keeps saying we need to follow the process and things, but I get quite confused about what the process is. I think it is just that he needs the 3 quotes, because he has to submit a form into his, to get it in a certain format. February. I'll chat with Glenn tomorrow and I'll just get 3 quotes to him and I'll see. But as long as everyone's happy for that, for us to share that job.
You need any help with that at all?
Yeah,
I'm not
okay,
help,
cool.
so.
Are people happy for me to continue communications with Aidan regarding the back fence project?
Puts you in a funny position when you're putting out a tender of one house.
The thing is though, it's one of the,
What do you live in the village?
I know.
so it's going to have it anyway, but the thing is, it's about getting it priced up and working on a design and some feasibility and everything. And we started talking about how we would do it without closing the play park and things. And he even said that, do you know what, you could fence off an area at the back, and we could use that bit of damaged fence in the corner as an access point, and he could do that without closing any of the play parks. So it's having ideas like this, is that I don't know, anything about it. You've got to talk to somebody about it. You've got to have a starting point. You've got to work on a design with somebody, and I really dislike that I've utilised his time already, and then it could be tendered, to somebody else. But it's kind of, there's no other way that I can work on it.
Don't feel guilty about it, it's what we do business on.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Whenever one supplier gets a quote through,
Yeah.
non detail, and shove it out to everybody else.
Yeah.
Can you do it for us?
Yeah. It's not another way of doing it.
Do you think you'd be interested in becoming a non-voting member of the Recfield Way?
As long as but the problem is whether or not that creates a conflict of interest for it. Because it's his
Tendering
business, and if he's tendering for business and things, but at the same time, he's a resident, and
I mean, the other thing, you could just say, look, we desperately need the help on this, but it doesn't guarantee you that you're
oh
going to
yeah,
get
well that's, he
And
knows that, he knows how this
he's not
is,
an idiot, so.
no, he's not daft, and he's already given me, his time to go and have a little chat about it and throw ideas around about it. But he's well aware that he'd have to tender for the work
Yeah.
afterwards.
I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Right. Was there anything else from Breckville Play Area that we needed to
Don't think so.
go over about?
You did mention about digging ditches, didn't you?
Digging
Yes,
ditches.
yes. So, on the walk around, obviously we located some of the worst parts of the field which are flooded.
So we just had to go there on an icy day, so where it's flooded, we used to shear ice.
Full of water.
Mhm.
Look on the left hand corner.
Yeah. It's ice that thing.
It's just putting a plaster on a problem, but having a work day to install some more offshore drains is required. If we do it as a working group sort of thing, or a work day rather, it's the cheapest way of doing it to an effective repair until the point where we have to take drastic action on the drainage. We did discuss the possibility of having an open ditch between the Mugger and the north boundary, but the ground level on the bog field is higher at that point, so it wouldn't be a good thing. It would, at best it would be full of water all the time, so that's maybe not a good idea. But
Wouldn't it drain off to the east?
well, yes, there's it just by the line of
Every
land.
one is driven down.
Yeah, which means that then it would be even wetter in that one.
But by the way of the land, there is quite a bank on the eastern boundary, so that's why the offshots and stuff go down into there quite well. So
Tree down that,
yeah, so, yeah.
near where the offshoots is.
But having a shallow open drain would hopefully divert the water from soaking into the bog field, from the bog field into the playing area and into the football pitches. So it would be worth further contemplation.
I seriously think that's the first thing you should do, because you divert the water before it gets on the field.
The bog field is only a couple of foot higher, but it is higher. And then there's a couple of trees on the tree line from above, and then there's a bankment that comes down to the Muga level, sorry. And so if there was a long open ditch there, which would be easily maintained because it's open, the idea is that water gets into there and away around the field in the hope that it would help the laid surfaces.
I think it'd be far more advantageous than digging holes and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually, within a season or two, it would have, the weeds and stuff and wildlife would take over in the ditch. So while it would be damaging habitat at the moment, it's not forever. The ditch is all.
Where the brambles go, it's snowed up within 6
Yeah,
months.
it's not on. Yeah. That way of draining fields does work. I've done it personally, and it certainly works on my land.
So you're draining all your land from Gabba?
Nope. I've got really big silver weight, but it does work. And the way that the land is will lend itself to the work. So again, you'll have to tender for that job. At the same time, we should look at that area of waste ground that was supposed to be a pump track. It's really good habitat, but it looks awful. It's a mess.
The section of the field is should not be utilised in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
Quite a big one, isn't it?
I don't think it's ever going to be a bowling green there, but it's really untidy, and I guess there'll be all sorts in the brambles, won't there?
So we do a sort of gravel area that we like go down to their pool, don't they?
Mm.
We would do sort of gravel areas that go to their pool or.
If the
farm
areas,
or something like that.
if that area is cleaned, there would be no you know, there'd be no reason why we couldn't consider having a fenced off area.
I don't really do that stuff, I just need to good layer of gravel.
Yeah.
And some of the fresh ones just have a layer of ash.
All right. I think it would be much better than having a big pile of
Gravel and white bricks and, yeah.
you know, it would be a massive job clearing that, but it could be done while the ditches are getting put in. If we're speak to the local landowner to see if we can go east with the stuff that comes off, then there'd be very limited damage to the field. You know, see if we can take it through you know, the cow field. That's what we do with the rubbish. We have to get slam tests and stuff to see what's there. And secrets.
Can we level it rather than move it?
I mean, was not classed as contaminated years ago. So if we disturb it, it needs to go. But it's something to continue looking at. So I think you know, we should back it back to the rec field committee, and if it's something that I want to pursue, we need to have a bit more info on it. Speak to some local ground workers and see what we want to do. If they want
I think the thing is, I'm getting confused now about, I mean, I know we want to do it if it's going to be incorporated into the drainage strategy, but there's so many, like, does it have to be done now? Can we get a drainage sorted?
It doesn't have to be done right away,
Yeah.
but you know the eastern edge that we walked along, and there was ice everywhere.
Yeah,
Standing
yeah.
water. At the very least, I think we need to put some more offshots in,
Yeah, I think, yeah.
which would help. But having a ditch across the north boundaries as well would be beneficial. But
I think it would have probably more effect, more immediate effect
Yeah.
than any old digging effect.
because you know, you're essentially allowing the water to come through here and draining it out here, whereas if you can divert it there,
Yeah.
you know. But it's a big job.
It would be a big job, another big job. Have we had any more, sorry?
Sorry. I just don't think we should be put off with the fact that it's a big job, because you know, we can achieve something and try. Sorry, what's it? Go on, go ahead, move on. Yeah.
Have we had any more progress with the core surface?
The
Oh, I
court-
didn't just keep telling me to wait for the weather to be right.
When did he last tell you that he was waiting for the weather to be right?
Well, he didn't answer my call today, so by about 3 weeks ago.
Can we give him a nudge to see if he actually wants to do it?
Oh, he wants to do it. He just doesn't think it's sense to do all the core work while it's still growing frost and stuff like that.
Just been waiting for him to do it for
I know,
since
6 months.
the good weather. Then
The-
it's
oh,
all
okay.
surface.
Yeah. And what was the quote on that again? Sorry? 7.5, so then we've still got a surface on the court to be looking at the
But we talked about tennis nets.
No, we need to
the
reboard
barrier
first.
and reboarding. Do we have any look at how much that was? Because you measured up.
You know, we're going to come down with the laser, so we can
Right, okay.
measure up to see exactly what we
Yeah,
need.
because we need to find out how much that is. So
So we talked about using, you can get recycled plastic board instead of plywood. The old plywood's been on there for a long time, but plywood's not what it used to be. And the fear, but it's rubbish now, yeah. It's really expensive and it doesn't last 5 minutes. And it does. So you can get coloured recycled plastic boards the same size as plywood, which would, you know, easily fit in. I had suggested that it's a sort of job that we could take on again, because it's, you know, it's
Weekends work.
it's weekend work, it's labour work, you know. But I would prefer to use the recycled plastic than use the wood. You know, it's a tick in the box for, you know, repurposing things rather than cutting down more trees. There is a
can
few.
we recycle a bit of wood that's got the graffiti on though?
Yeah.
And all the kids' love letters to each other.
Yeah, you can have it in the back of your shelter.
There
They're all the way around.
There's a few companies that do this recycle board, the one that immediately springs to mind to me is what we call solid recycling, and they do all sorts of good things with old plastic and old tyres and stuff like that. Obviously, we'll have to get more quotes from different places, but as far as I'm aware, you can get it in any shape and size you want.
As far as you've seen all the hen houses that are made out of it, and it really is good because you can pressure wash it. The only thing that actually damages it is rats.
You haven't got any problem with rats, rabbits, yes.
Yeah, no, not rats.
Rats are on the road.
Yeah, but it's really, really hard wearing.
So that'll be my proposal for that instead of using wood.
Quick agree then.
Obviously, we'll do it after the court surface has been done. There's
He was
also
worried about the water runoff as well from the court when he was doing the last. He didn't see that it would go underneath the.
yeah. Sorry?
What was it?
Just for the wooden warden around the movie.
Right, okay.
And there's a few bits of mesh to repair, but nothing that's not doable.
Oh, I went down in the dark and that light is out. So it's lit by 3 lights at the moment. And and each light has got more than one bulb in, is it? So I think it's a whole tower that does a whole thing. So
The lighting some of that they look at as well, because they are really, really inefficient. Super bright bulbs, and the start-stop circuit doesn't work very well. You know, when it's on for hours. There's a lot of things to.
Who's got the key? And then I can get in.
probably me. I'm looking at my stash. Just
I have a bunch of keys.
I've no idea what it would look like.
Well,
The fact that the keep the little box on the.
Yeah, electric ones.
We used to pick that up from Hurry as well.
No, not the one from the go.
No, it was when it started when it was.
Okay. We all talked about that one.
I was thinking of.
Correct. Number 7, memorial benches. We have had a email in and said, hello, I'm the niece of Mrs. Doreen Hall, a long-time Felton resident who passed away this past summer. I live in New York and I'm interested in learning if it's possible to sponsor a bench in Felton in honour of Aunt Doreen. Please can you let me know what the associate cost is, what the process would be to do that, and any information would be greatly appreciated.
We already had one about 12 months ago that somebody wanted to sponsor a bench and I couldn't find the illustration for it.
Right.
I thought because we can't use it as a replacement bench for somewhere. So I thought we had benches that didn't need replacing.
They've all been done.
They've all been done, have they?
They haven't. The benches that need replaced. Campbell's got about 10 on the top of his mind that are knackered.
Are they all ones with plaques on them already?
There's lots of the ones that need replaced.
Yeah, I'd like to see it transfer. That's all.
But on the walk around in the wreck, there's a bench that immediately as you go into when you come in the gate, playing fields there, on the hedge line to the play area, there's a bench that's been melted.
Then it's really low if you want.
Nice. So that could be a location to remove a bench that doesn't have a black on, to put something there. But there's a row of 3 that look the same, so
So
potentially there could be an opportunity to allow 3 spaces for new benches.
Ideally, you could just take the drugs off that are burnt in the place.
yeah, we looked at that, didn't we?
We looked at turning them over to try and save some money, but they were burnt on both sides, it's melted down.
You can get them in different plastic,
Yeah,
but if somebody
But
wants to
also-
put a chair in, then we need a spot for a chair there, so I'll do it. We don't have to spend anything, huh?
The only cost we would have is, I guess, installing it, wouldn't it? Which so potentially it would be you can replace those 3 benches to make them look alike. And that's a spot. The other thing is the viewing mound beside the mugger. You can put them on the top of there. Depending on what you're going to do with that, or put them anywhere else.
What about
you?
you know the spot that's county at the moment with the first foot fencing on it that we were talking about putting the daffodils on?
On Riverside.
On Riverside, yeah. I mean, I really think that it's the closest thing we've got to a village green. And the thing is, though, I think it's something that we can make more of it. I don't know whether or not we, you know, I know it's counties, but I think it's
The thing is, there's the 3 seats down by the river there.
yeah,
And then there's the 2 at the War Memorial. So you've got 5 seats in a very small area.
you do. Yeah, that's true. And can we put any on the bridge? On the old, we can't, no.
Can't go over the surface.
Right.
English heritage, we've had a big bit. And then if you put them on the other bridge, the footpath's not wide enough to.
Yeah, it's when people, that edge that's already there at the moment with planters next to each other is really awkward.
What about the south side of the wreck then?
Yeah.
Is there space to put them, you know, when we talked about putting the coronation tree or whatever it was that we're going to plant in the little there, the bayonet farm that's going to be on cables, is there space to put a bench up at the top end near the new estate?
Well, there is one there.
I know there's one there, but that's one in a very large green area.
Yeah.
There's also the piece of green between the 2 estates.
Yeah.
I don't know who that belongs to, but we talked about community orchard things.
And they're laid by.
No, the one between Parkview and Dean Close.
Yeah,
There's a big green
Yeah.
space there, there's nothing.
Well, you put them forward as options.
yeah. I think
So-
it depends where she can use, about what she'd like, yeah. We can cost it at the bench.
We probably want it on Main Street.
But I think that's, the thing is though, a man lived on Main Street and
That's wide enough.
So Parkview Dean Close.
I think looking at Main Street as well as, because I think for Dory as well, like she ran the shop, she lived a few doors up from the shop, it was all about the centre of the village and things, which is why I'm on this face when going wrecking this map and that. But if there was somewhere on Main Street where it could go, that
You
would
want
be
it outside your house?
well, I've got this lovely little bit
With the barrel, yeah.
with my barrel, yeah.
But the footpath at the other side is double width.
It is, but it's already got
An impediment to everybody walking up and down with that
Yeah.
huge sod bin in the middle of the footpath.
but they don't put it up against the house again on their land.
They don't have it on the footpath, do they?
I thought they had the front bit there, but it was because you can't push it up against the building because otherwise it gets damp down the back.
Yeah.
That's why they've moved it away from the building.
No, they moved it away from the building, gets that.
Yeah, but they don't want it up against the building again.
I think if you go to put it in Main Street, you've got to start on your surveys for gas,
Yeah.
electric, water. I just think it's a route nobody wants to go to.
Yeah, there's not an obvious spot.
All the rest of the road, not the path.
At some point across the path. Because otherwise it won't get to the house.
Cables. Electric cable, the road.
How many gas cables? Yeah, so Parkview, between Parkview and Dean Close, outside Coker Park, the Wreck and Riverside.
She's buried in the cemetery, isn't she? So having something that close to the cemetery would be.
There's already 2 chairs outside here. There's-
Yeah, I just don't know what's. Yeah, you're the one that.
We don't need an extra bench. We need to take benches out.
Okay. Right.
I think the 3 benches on the Wreck, I think if you replace them for benches with plaques on, it's 3 places that the benches obviously get used.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could donate the 3 that are currently there, or 2 of them there, to the school.
Which we've already done. With the other benches that came off.
Yeah, there's loads of people at that school. You know, what I'm saying is you don't have to bin them. you know, you could repurpose those benches. You could give them away.
You could put them on the top of the mound so that people could sit and look at them.
I just said that.
Yeah, that's not repurposing
That's not a
them,
bad
putting
idea.
them out on the field.
True, yeah. Do we, I mean, look, do we want to open the gates to people who want benches for local into the village? There's how many, 19 benches with plaques on, so it's been allowed in the past.
Just let me get this right about the benches with plaques that need to be replaced. Obviously the plaques, we need to resituate them. But that bench then, can you have more than one plaque on one bench?
As
Yeah.
I recall, the plaques on the two out there
Yeah.
are family relations after we.
So if we were to replace, are any of those benches needing replacing?
It's the space around them that needs looking after. The paving stones are all rubbish.
I think we need to have a wee bit more of a think about this, we need to get that then.
We don't. Just make a decision.
I clearly don't.
I'd rather have a walk around and have a look and see where I could put one, because the other person that wants to put one down near gasworks,
Can we task you with that
and
then?
it's difficult.
Can we task you with that then?
Yeah, I'm just seeing some benches, aren't there?
Well, you know.
Get in trouble when I buy benches.
Well, you know. So, can we have it on the next meeting, on the
Yeah.
10th? And,
I'll do a dog walk.
just, you know, there is a lot of benches with,
It's got a lot of seats physically, as people put them all around my stuff. It's got a lot of spots.
It's gone.
Yeah, or they should just take the planters off each side of it. No, I think the bench is still there, probably. Just the planters on there.
would a bench outside the doctor's surgery work?
Well, given it's not going to be the doctor's surgery, where it's longer, and we've got all the charging and the triple parking in that area, I think that might be a bit of a hazard.
So there is one at the bus stop.
There's one of those, yeah.
And a bit of a walk around.
I'll go walk around, I'll take the dogs, I'll do it at 1 o'clock in the morning, and see benches while I'm there.
Okay, right, so that can be on the agenda for next time. So item number 8, items for the next agenda. So far,
Oh, got 3.
so we've got the toilet block, and the microphone box to be on the next agenda, because it's been damaged. A couple of people have reported that the door was difficult to open before the strong winds, but it's definitely been damaged in the wind as well.
The hinges had fallen, so
Yeah.
that it wasn't hanging straight, so it wouldn't shut properly. And I have to say, I did notice them just after New Year, but I've never had my camera down with me to take photographs and send anybody a message about it.
The way the frame is bolted to the oak door, when the doors come around on the hinge, it's broken the keeper, and it's gone like past and pulled through the frame. So it is repairable. It doesn't need a new door. But there's 2 bits of the cast on the door frame which is broken, which will need repaired and painted. Ecoblast came out, had a look at it, said it's something that they can do, and you know, we'll work out a price. I don't think you get more than one quote to do it, but you know, they did the job. So
Okay.
that is.
Those ones on the bridge are. What on us?
Do you think anybody who wants a bench would rather have a planter with a plaque on it?
No.
And fund the planting of it for There you go.
Good try, but
She's better than I did.
Sorry.
You could ask the question. I've never seen a plant with a black on, but
the ones next to the coffee shop above that.
oh, there you go. It's not a bench.
Maybe you could put it forward as an option too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If the things that we want to spend money on, which is going to be a feature in the village, that is going to be enjoyed by people, is going to be seen by people, and it's something that we want to maintain ongoing into the future, then I think it's a nice thing to do.
Anything else for the next meeting?
Just all the rec if we go. play area because stuff will have happened.
Anything else? Well, thank you for being
I've
patient.
just had another thing for a seesaw come through, which is virtually twice the price of the shotgun one, coming in at £8,203 in VAT.
You should make them all
But it is pirate themed.
Across the whole room.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, so I'll with that. What's that, sorry?
Like you say, you should make them out of planks and wood.
Yeah, we want to see what my kids play on in the cars.
They have their Rasmussen.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It is 8:21 and that is the meeting closed.
Brilliant.
Next meeting is the 10th of February